Hey everyone, and welcome to No Bones About Wrestling. I'm your host, Asa, and with me as always is Kay Fabulous.
Hey.
And this is your AEW Dynamite August 16th, 2023 wrap-up. This was Fight for the Fallen, where all the proceeds went to the Maui wildfire victims. And the
Maui Food Bank.
Correct, yeah. Which then went to victims of the Maui wildfires.
Yes.
And they were asking you to pledge, and so we pledged to the Maui Food Bank. It doesn't need to be a lot. You don't even need to tell people what you pledge, but you know, something you should do for your fellow Americans, I believe.
Well, your fellow humans, even,
Yeah. So go and pledge to them. It's Maui, MAUI, foodbank.org.
Every little bit helps.
True. And AEW Dynamite was far from Maui. It was in Nashville, Tennessee. And we'll get right to it. The first match was for the AEW International Championship. Had the champion Orange Cassidy defending against Wheeler Yuta, formerly one of the best friends, one of their crew. Nice headlock takedowns and arm drags by both men starting the match. And Orange Cassidy, I know you said you thought he had so many places taped up on him, he looked like a walking mummy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Orange Cassidy, his neck was taped up, his lower back was taped up, his right hand and his knees, they're all taped up. He looks like a walking injury. Yeah, he looks like he was hit by a bus or something, but he's just been wrestling. And one more thing to remember about this match: Orange Cassidy was one of Wheeler Yuta's trainers, actually.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
And Yuta hits a pile driver on the ramp. He gets Cassidy back in the ring, gets a 2 count. Yuta places Cassidy in Charlotte Flair's figure 8 hold, and Cassidy forces a rope break. Yuta is wrenching on that right wrist of Cassidy. Not sure what he's going for there. Maybe a submission win with the right wrist.
I think he's just trying to mess his right wrist up so the orange punch is less effective.
Right, there you go. Cassidy pushes Yuta through the ropes, and Yuta yo-yos back into the ring, where he's met right on the button with a Cassidy drop kick, which knocks him to the floor. Back inside the ring, though, Yuta superplexes Cassidy off the turnbuckle. Yuta then, off the top rope with the diamond splash, gets a 2 count. Cassidy goes for an around-the-world DDT, but comes up lame on the left leg, which Wheeler immediately grabs and gives a dragon screw. Cassidy hits a Michinoku driver and gets a 2 count. And with that, here come Jon Moxley and Castagnoli, the other members of the Blackpool Combat Club. Claudio Castagnoli, I meant to say, the Ring of Honor World Champion. Cassidy hits the paradigm shift, so kind of say hello and fuck you to Jon Moxley there.
Mm-hmm.
He then hits the orange punch, and it looks like this may be his time to win. And he is in visible pain, is Cassidy. Yuta grabs the seatbelt on Cassidy, but he can't quite grab the back leg. He nearly gets the pinfall, though, but Cassidy kicks out at 2. And Yuta then goes for another roll-up. Orange, however, reverses it, sits his weight down on Yuta, gets the 1, 2, 3, and still international champion, somehow, some way, Orange Cassidy. And what an amazing run he's on. This match, I give 4 bones out of 5. Very good match.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think we're going to get... Because we originally thought that we were going to get Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley for the title at All In. Do you think we're going to get that at All Out since we're getting a different match at All In?
I think we may. I know Dave Meltzer first reported Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy at All In. So, what's the matchup now for...
Well, we're about to say.
Are we? Oh, yes,
Yeah.
we are. Okay. Well, we'll get there in just a minute.
Okay.
Cassidy is on an amazing run, not just for AEW, but I mean for all of professional wrestling.
He's now 20-0 for 2023.
Yeah, what a
great.
Maybe the story of the year, really, would be Cassidy.
Well, you could say the same thing for Gunther.
Cassidy's way more interesting and entertaining a story than Gunther.
Well, he's also defending it more frequently, I think, without a doubt.
I think so.
Because Cassidy,
but you could argue that Gunther's facing better competition.
I don't know that you could. Other than, like, McIntyre.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying I would argue it. I'm just saying you could definitely argue that point.
Yeah.
So the Blackpool Combat Club, they jump Orange Cassidy afterwards. The best friends come down for the save. And the Lucha Brothers run down, and they run the Blackpool Combat Club out of the ring. If you'll remember, last week, the Blackpool Combat Club ripped Penta El Zero Miedo's mask off his face in a disgraceful showing. And that basically leaves a luchador prone because he can't defend himself anymore because he has to use both of his arms to cover up his face. It's one of the most disgraceful things that can happen to a luchador is for his face to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Well, not only that, but the Blackpool Combat Club is taking credit for Pac being injured right now.
Right.
So they're the reason that Death Triangle, which was reforming, are no longer currently reforming. And the Lucha Brothers are left by themselves.
They're bullies.
The Blackpool Combat Club? Yeah, they're jerks. They're a bunch of jerks.
So then, New Japan strong open-weight champion Eddie Kingston comes in, and he goes right after Claudio Castagnoli, and the Blackpool Combat Club run away. Kingston, while they're still within earshot, though, on the mic, he says, "Us against you." And the us he's referring to, it would be Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Trent, Chuck Taylor, Rey Fenix, and Penta El Zero Miedo. So 6 against, like I said, he said, you and whoever you can find. So on the heel side, we have Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and then 3 other members. And that match gets made, and it's going to be Stadium Stampede all over Wembley. So that's a lot of pressure, but I also think every single one of those guys involved in it can deliver on a big stage. Mm-hmm. And it may end up being the most fun match of the night. No, I'm not saying best match of the night.
Yeah,
you'll notice it may be the most fun match of the night.
Interesting. So who do you think is going to plug that hole? We got 3 open spots.
My first thought, and this is not based on storylines, but just my thought on on if this were real, who would I go and get to be on my side?
Yeah,
it would be Lance Archer, and then get the Gates of Agony, 2/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man champions.
Why not get Brian Cage in the Gates of Agony? Because they're already together, and Brian Cage is like
just to mix it up a little.
See, I would do Brian Cage.
Well, because you get, but here's why. Because you get Lance Archer, that brings Jake Roberts along on the outside.
If you bring Brian Cage, you get Prince Nana. I guess you get Prince Nana with the Gates of Agony too, though.
See, so now you have Jake the Snake and Prince Nana on the outside.
Yeah,
stalking around, doing whatever, tripping people up.
Is there an outside in a Stadium Stampede? I haven't watched the last one.
It's Stadium Stampede. Well, they can still trip
there's
people.
no ring, right? What is? Can you explain to me Stadium Stampede briefly to me and our listeners? Because
it's just a Falls Count Anywhere.
And
match.
they're in a stadium, and then that's it?
Mm-hmm.
This is
over the stadium, the concourses.
This is the one where Hangman, like, rode in on a horse?
Correct.
Okay. Is this also the one with the golf cart?
Correct.
Okay. So this is going to be crazy.
They get wild, yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting. I wonder who they will choose. My first thought originally was the Dark Order, just because there's 3 of them. But I'm really into this Brian Cage and Gates of Agony pick. Because I think Brian Cage is a little more skilled than Lance Archer.
I don't know.
Whoa, really? You love Brian Cage.
Both very big. I wouldn't say I love Brian Cage. I like him. I like
You
him
used to be
well.
like a champion of Brian Cage and talk about how they were wasting him.
Yeah, and I still kind of do, but...
But you'd want Lance Archer just because you want Jake Roberts there?
I'm just trying to be a little more creative and not just say plug the 6-man tag champs in. That's all.
Oh, well, I'm going to be not creative and say the thing that makes more sense.
Yeah. Just trying to think about it a little
Yeah.
a little more than say put the belt holders in. That's all.
But they're big baddies.
I mean, my second choice, if it were Archer and the Gates of Agony, my second choice would be Cage and the Gates of Agony. So
yeah.
We're not very far apart on that one.
We haven't seen them in a non-traditional match before, so this would be very interesting. At least I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, how far can they get? Are they going to be totally exhausted?
Yeah, can they run?
Yeah, can their legs carry their frames?
I bet so.
We're going to fucking find out.
That'd be awesome.
They're going to show up and their muscles are going to be reversed. They've been doing leg day every day. You're going to have big, giant legs.
I thought you meant like inside out muscles at
No,
first.
no.
And I was like, how does that work?
They're going to have giant legs and like arms my size. Like I'm ready for Stadium Stampede, guys. Next, we had Jim Ross, one of his famous sit-down interviews. He's famous over the years for getting people to be very frank and revealing in these sit-down interviews. And he was doing one at this point with Kenny Omega. And Omega talks about his, quote, Uncle Don, who was not really his uncle, was a friend of his real uncle's. Don Callis, we're talking about. And he was talking about how Don Callis kind of got him into wrestling and gave him like his first set of weights and his first supplements and helped him win sporting events. And he said, one thing of note, he said, gave him the vials of different colored things that he didn't know what they were called. Which sounds like he gave Kenny Omega... I mean, I hate to say it.
No, it definitely sounded like he gave him
he gave Kenny Omega steroids.
Yeah.
As a young man.
Yeah.
But I
How
tell
long
you...
do steroids stay in your system? Like, is it if you do them as a young man? Like, are they still...
I don't think
Are you still feeling the effects, like, years later?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Interesting.
But yeah, that was revealing. But so JR asks about the events in the past several months, and with Kenny Omega and Don Callis attacking him with a screwdriver and just all this wicked shit he's done. And he asks Kenny about it, and Omega says that he's trying to get it behind him so he doesn't become bitter over someone like Callis. And it's at this moment, speak of the devil and he appears, as they say. And Callis walks up and he says he didn't realize JR was a psychoanalyst now. Or psychotherapist, whatever. It's a term from the 80s. People don't really call
Yeah, I hadn't heard
like
that term in a long time.
Yeah. And so he's trying to get Callis to leave. And then Jay White and Juice Robinson come up from behind, and they start beating Omega with a bunch of stadium equipment. Those poles that are always placed against things for no reason, those loud-sounding poles that are there, rope, and things like that. And they say the AEW cameras followed Kenny to the hospital, where Hangman Adam Page was waiting with a beer in hand. Page is in front of the hospital, and he's saying Omega will have himself and Kota Ibushi. And they challenge Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita. And so we got another match for All In.
Can I ask a question?
A trios match here. What?
Is part of Adam Page's gimmick now that he has a drinking problem?
It's always been. He's always had alcohol.
I know, but it's like... Now he's in, like, a public place outside a hospital. That seems like... Like, before he was, like, in a bar or backstage. Places where you would assume people might be drinking. But, like, hospital parking lot standing behind an ambulance? Like... And then when you're asked to get rid of it, you chug it instead. Like, you got a little bit of a concern happening.
He has a problem. Yeah, he definitely has a problem.
That's an odd character choice,
yeah.
Especially for a face. You know, like
it is. Yeah, right. And yeah, folks, if you act like Paige does with alcohol, seek help. I'm not trying to be funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is not one to model yourself after. Seek help. But right, so he chugs the beer, and Paige hands the guy the empty can. And we have a trios match. Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Hangman Page versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita. Probably the match to which I'm most looking forward for All In.
You said you thought this was going to be match of the night, most likely, right? Isn't this the one that you picked?
I think so, yeah. If I had to bet, I don't see how this won't be the match of the night, yeah.
I think this will be the match of the night, but I think I will enjoy the Aussie Open Better Than You, Baby tag match more.
A lot of good matches on this card.
There's so many good matches.
A lot of good matches.
We were on Last Week in Wrestling podcast earlier in the week, and the big question was, which match are you most looking forward to? And that was like the hardest question anyone has ever asked me in my life. Because really? There are so many good matches on this show. Like, each match is one that I would normally pick on a regular pay-per-view, you know? But then, like, they've taken the best match of, like, any pay-per-view ever and put them all together.
Basically, they've done a very good job.
I've seen people online complaining about this card, and I'm like, who wronged you? Like, what, I don't understand. Like, what is there even to complain about? This card seems amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
The only complaint I could see was matches with too many, like, multi-people, you know?
See, but I like those matches more than singles matches.
Sometimes they can get a little repetitive.
Yeah.
But that's it. And I don't mean a trios match. I mean like a four-way match or something like that. But
we only have one four-way, don't we? The women?
I believe so, yeah. So like maybe that's what people are complaining about.
I'm complaining about having only one women's match, but that's my only complaint.
Yeah, that's there should be at least 2 and really probably 3 or 4 women's matches. Well, I think 3 would be a fair number to say. Maybe
we'll still get one. We got time. A little bit of time.
1 is going to be fucked up if that happens. 1 out of 11. I don't know how many they're going to have. All right, so Don Callis is a busy guy. He calls out Chris Jericho for his decision on whether or not he's joining the Callis family.
And we're back in the ring at this point.
And Callis said he was sorry the JAS all walked out on him last week on Dynamite. And Jericho kind of hems and haws and says this, but this. And, you know, I usually say, I don't join stables. I make stables. I create stables, factions, whatever you want to call them.
Factions, yeah.
And he says, but, I need to get back to my heelish roots, so I'll join. And Callis is overjoyed. He can't believe it. Can't believe Chris Jericho is joining the Callis family.
Mm-hmm.
And Callis says, well, hell, let's go down Broadway and drink Broadway dry and beat up rednecks like we used to back in the day. And they're on their way out. And in the ring, you would notice there's a painting. It's a covered painting. And on their way out, Jericho says, "What's up with the painting? Let me see what you got there." And Callis was like, "No, you don't want to see that. But yeah, I'll just have it sent to your house. It's another one of me, you, and Bad News Alan. I'll just have it sent to which one of your houses do you want it sent to?" And Jericho says, "No, let me just see it real quick." And they go back and forth, and Jericho finally is like, "Let me see it." And so Callis has to take the drape off, or whatever you call that, the cover of a painting. I don't know. A frock.
A frock? I don't think it's called a frock.
He defrocks the painting.
Oh my god. And
it's revealed that it's a painting of Don Callis holding a sword in one hand and Chris Jericho's decapitated head in the other hand.
Can I just say, before you go on...
Can I just say...
No, I would...
Bring back his decapitated head to me and place it here on this piano.
What is that from?
Samurai Cop.
Oh, I forgot about that.
For you Samurai Cop fans out there. Yeah, just had to sneak that in.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
In case you don't know, Samurai Cop is one of the worst movies ever made, therefore one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just throw props out to whatever artist they have been getting to do these like Renaissance-esque paintings, especially this one, because they did a good close-up of it, and Jericho's severed head looked unbelievably like Jericho. Like, it wasn't like a close approximation. It was like they took a photograph of Jericho's severed head. Like, it was incredible. I wish that they would post something on Twitter or Instagram crediting the artist.
It was impressive.
That did this. It was very impressive. I mean, and so the other two, but I feel like this one just had more detail. And especially with Jericho's face, like, I mean, he's older, so he's got more lines and divots than most people, and I feel like they just like really captured his face well.
Now with all the Botox he's getting, eventually Jericho's going to look like one of the lizard people. You realize that?
You think Jericho gets Botox?
Oh my God, yes.
But he can still move his face. I thought with Botox you couldn't move your face.
I don't know.
Something. Maybe he's getting like collagen.
He's getting something done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how old is he?
I don't know. He looks good, yeah.
He's like 75 years old. And...
He's not 75 years old, you crazy. He's what, like 40-something, right?
I think he might be closer to 50 than he is 40 for sure.
Well, 40-something.
Why don't you get us an answer?
Yeah, I just realized I could look that up.
So, this, as it would you, if you were looking at your...
realistically depicted severed head.
Yeah, it takes Jericho back. And he starts to go off on Callis, and he tells him he's a lowlife, a worm, a piece of trash, and an asshole. And it's at this point, Callis has had enough, and he paintbrushes Jericho. He slaps him. Jericho drives Callis into the corner, and then Konosuke Takeshita runs in with a chair. Jericho knocks it out of Takeshita's hands and begins beating on him. In comes Will Ospreay. Takeshita and Ospreay beat up Jericho. There's a chair shot from Ospreay to Jericho. And Callis then smashes the large painting over Jericho's hand. Sammy Guevara, finally, someone runs down to help Jericho. There's only one man left who cares about him, and that's Sammy Guevara. Comes with Floyd the Bat and clears the ring. And Jericho's there in Sammy Guevara's arms, bleeding from his forehead. But probably not as much as they wanted him bleeding, but he was bleeding. And that is how that segment ends. So, pretty wild segment.
Jericho is 52 years old, just to add that to...
Thought so.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty wild segment. A lot to digest there. So yeah, Jericho not joining the Callis family. It seems this was intended to turn Jericho face, but based on the crowd reaction, they weren't sure of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that's because they were trying to get him to turn face by Sammy, who is maybe a face, coming to help him.
He's a face.
He is a face, but I feel like they didn't do a good enough job making it clear that Sammy's a face for us to now know, oh, he's with Sammy, Sammy's a face, so now Jericho's a face. But so does this mean that Will Ospreay is officially part of the Callis family, or do you think he's just helping him out because he's a goon?
I think it means he's officially part of the Callis family.
So now the Callis family has 2 members.
I believe so. And so, next we get a video recap of Jack Perry's heel month he's had. And the segment ends with Jack Perry proclaiming that he's retiring the FTW belt next Wednesday.
Can you explain to me why? I don't understand. Like, if you have a belt, why do you want to retire your own belt that you just got?
Because it's like a boss move. Because then you retire it. You're so good. You were the last champion. And then then in the annals of history, people will look forever. And then they'll see this one title, the FTW Championship, and then you'll always be seen as the last champion, the one that never got beaten.
But wouldn't you also want to be the one that had it the longest? Like you had it the longest and then you retire?
Yeah,
I mean
that's impressive too. That's impressive too. I'm just saying it's a thing.
Okay.
As being the last champion, the one who sails into the sunset with the championship.
So he tells us he's going to retire it, but he doesn't tell us who he's going to face to retire it.
Or if he's going to have a match.
Oh, you think he's just going to show up and retire it? That would be boring.
No. Someone's going to show up and try and get him to not retire the belt.
Who do we think that someone's going to be?
Well, so who wanted it to exist in AEW?
That's
Number one, Taz wanted it to exist. So
that's who I want it to be. Because I want it to be Taz. But you have said that he has adamantly said on multiple occasions that he is done wrestling.
He has said that, yes.
Yeah, what I want is he has at least one good suplex left in him, you know? Like, just get down there in the ring, suplex Jack Perry, pin him, take the belt, it's done, you know? Like, I'm okay with it still getting retired, but I think Taz is the ideal candidate to retire it. Or do you think whoever beats Perry is going to not retire it?
Whoever beats Perry? What do you mean?
Like, do you think if someone beats whoever Perry faces, if that person wins, the belt's going to stay active and not be retired? Like, do you think it's only going to retire if Perry wins whatever match gets made?
I assume so.
Okay.
I assume so.
So I think Hook is the other good option.
Yeah.
Because that's who Perry got the belt from. It's Taz's kid. We haven't seen Hook in person since he lost the belt. We just saw that video package at the subway station.
Yeah.
With the trains passing when nothing was said during that video package. But so who else do you think might be, if it's not Taz and it's not Hook?
Well, my thoughts when you go and first you would look at the past FTW champions. So you look at Sabu. I don't think Sabu is wrestling anymore. I think he's done.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think he should have done that spot he did with AEW.
No.
Hurt himself pretty quickly. The only ones to have held it have been Taz, Sabu, Brian Cage, Jack Perry, and Hook.
Ricky Starks had it.
And Ricky Starks. Yeah, that's it.
Ricky Starks had it the longest, I think.
I believe that's it. But I'll tell you, I could see, someone dyed in the wool ECW as showing up, because Jack Perry wasn't just running his mouth about the FTW title, he was running his mouth about ECW.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the last bunch of motherfuckers who you want to be shooting your mouth off about.
Yeah. Yeah, they're scary.
Yeah, they are scary. They are scary.
I know they are. So who from ECW do you think maybe might be showing up?
I could see Tommy Dreamer, who I've been told he's still wrestling. I think someone said he wrestles for Impact. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure.
But Tommy Dreamer is a possibility.
Is that the name he still goes by, Tommy Dreamer?
I guess so. Dreamer, Dreamer. I could see the Sandman come in and do something.
He's signed to Impact Wrestling, not Sandman.
Tommy Dreamer,
Tommy
Impact.
Dreamer.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know if I see him coming over. I could see Raven doing something. Former ECW World Champion Raven. I don't know. And they've still got Jerry Lynn in the back who could help whomever comes out, But it's not going to be... Whatever happens next week is not going to be just Jack Perry retiring this belt.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going down without a fight.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
My question to you, do you think they should retire this belt?
No, I think very quickly it's become the second most entertaining belt in the company here.
Is that... What percentage of that is because Rob Van Dam came?
About 90%.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So that one match made this the second most important belt?
I didn't say anything about
not important. I'm sorry, entertaining belt?
Yes.
What's the first?
The world title.
So you think that what? You think the FTW championship is more interesting than Orange Cassidy's?
Lately, yes.
90% because of Rob Van Dam.
When you got Jerry Lynn coming out of the back and to his ECW music and talking shit to some kid, and then also you got Rob Van Dam showing up by surprise and having a match against the same kid, yeah, that's pretty goddamn exciting, yes.
I disagree with you. Not that that's not exciting. I agree with that part. I disagree that this belt is more interesting than Orange Cassidy's title run. Jack Perry's defended it like 3 times, I think, since he's gotten it. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Not sure.
So it seems real interesting. All right, well, I guess we'll wait till Wednesday to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see what happens.
That's they did a good job of making this thing that I used to not care about at all something I care about.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have another match. We have 2/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions, the Gates of Agony, and that's Toa and Khan.
Bishop Khan and Toa Leona. They have started using first and last names now.
Bishop Khan and Toa Leona?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're taking on Darby Allin and 18-year-old sensation Nick Wayne. The Gates of Agony attack before the bell. Swerve and AR Fox come out. And AR Fox still has Nick Wayne's bloody tank top from when Fox and Swerve attacked him at his house. Or rather, at his mother's house, rather. The fight spills to the apron. The Gates go for a double team move. Let's see. Nick Wayne hits Toa with a Hurricane Rana. Wayne then hits Khan with a Cody Cutter. Things looking good for the smaller team. Nick Wayne hit a moonsault onto the outside on Toa. And Darby Allin hit the coffin drop on Khan for the pin and the win. What a bunch of fucking bullshit.
Amen.
So this one, they had Darby Allin, who's a teeny tiny guy, team up with Nick Wayne, who is teeny tinier, and they beat the Gates of Agony, whose thighs literally look like trees.
I bet that, Toa's thighs, one thigh, is larger than Darby's waist.
It might be.
If you measure them, I bet.
Might be.
This was a ridiculous match.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's possible, because they do it regularly, it's possible to book Darby to look like he can beat
Like
bigger
Samoa Joe,
men.
even, you know?
To make it look like he can beat bigger men. Like Samoa Joe, for instance. Or Brian Cage, for instance. I've seen it happen. They do it. They didn't do it tonight.
No, they did not.
They didn't do it tonight. They didn't convince me tonight. What I saw was some bullshit, just lazy booking. But they didn't let the Gates of Agony get anything. You know, the story of the match should be the Gates of Agony kill them, and then the baby faces steal one somehow.
Yeah.
And everyone cheers because they can't believe it. It's not the Gates. It's not the faces hit every move the whole match and win, and it's almost a squash match. That was crazy.
There's one thing that happened in this match that you didn't mention.
Well, first I didn't mention my bone rating.
Oh yeah, you also didn't for the first match. I don't believe.
Oh God, what's happening? The whole system's falling apart.
I wrote down that you needed to say your bone rating, and then we moved past it.
No, I think I did.
I don't think.
Yeah, I did.
What did you give it?
4 bones out of 5 for the Orange Cassidy Will You match. I definitely did. I remember saying it.
I'm sorry.
This match, I'm gonna give it 1.5 bones out of 5.
Yeah.
Because just the booking, as I said, it was just lazy. And I hate to be so negative, and I'm not trying to be rude, but that's what it was. Like, no, whoever booked this, they messed up.
Yeah.
And just as a fan, and like, I try to suspend my disbelief. That's the whole fun in wrestling, is pretending like it's real for 2 hours. You know, forget it. No, everything you know, and pretend like it's real for 2 hours and have some fun. But sometimes a match comes along and it pulls you out, and you're like, "Oh, fucking bullshit." And this is one of those matches.
Yeah. The 2 things I wanted to point out, you may have said this and I missed it, but AR Fox and Swerve came out and sat in chairs on the ramp at the beginning of the match to watch the match. I just feel like that's worth noting, since they have a match against Darby and Sting at All In. And then there was a moment in the match where Toa and Khan are like coming at Nick, and he ducks, and it causes Toa and Khan to clothesline each other. I hate that.
Yeah.
That is so stupid. It's like so cartoony, and they weren't going with enough momentum where like oh no, they couldn't stop before they hit each other thing was believable. And then we see this exact thing later on in another match, which I will complain about when we get to that match. So not only was this a stupid spot, but we see it twice in one night. So dumb. So dumb.
Let's see. Anything else?
No, that made me like so full of rage that I like my brain like exploded and I couldn't function. Wait, no, that's not true. There was a beautiful moonsault by Nick on Toa on the outside. That was like, he got such like a big arch with his back when he did the moonsault. It was like one of the more impressive moonsaults I've ever seen. It was very graceful looking.
Well, yeah, Nick Wayne. I mean, I see it. He's tiny.
He's 18.
But there's a lot of potential there. He's a good wrestler. But he's so small. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to make it.
No. I'll say it again. If you look at 18-year-old college basketball players versus NBA players, or even those same NBA players, if you look at pictures of them when they were playing college basketball, they look scrawny as hell. You know, he's just not at that age yet where you've built that muscle. Yeah. So he's going to get there. I have no doubt.
So after the match, Darby Allin grabs his skateboard and gives it to Nick Wayne. And he takes off his belt to use as a weapon to fight off Swerve and AR Fox as they're circling around the ring like buzzards. And that's what I constantly compare Swerve to. He's like a cartoon buzzard, just waiting for his moment to strike. But Swerve and AR don't strike because something happens that draws away their attention, and that is that Sting appears on the big screen.
Joker Sting, we should specify.
Well, I was about to
Okay.
in the rest of my sentence. He's in Joker makeup, doing a very contrived, forced promo. So it's revealed. He says something. He says something along the lines of, he's a director now. I'm a director and I make movies. And then he shows that his star of his first movie is in fact Prince Nana. So he's kidnapped Prince Nana and taken him to this dark room. And Prince Nana is shaking and begging the Stinger for his life. And who knows what he's done to him already. But it was just, I don't need to go through the whole thing, but it was just bad.
It was not good.
Cringe-worthy, as the kids call it nowadays.
And I know, like, some people have, like, nostalgia for Joker Sting, but, like, it's like Jim Carrey and the Joker had a stupid baby.
Yeah, that's what you
like,
said.
It
Yeah.
is not good.
Yeah.
It is so out of character seeming. Like, it is...
Yeah.
It makes Sting look bad. And I didn't think it would be possible for Sting to look bad.
Yeah.
He does, like, a voice. Like, it's not good.
No, it's not good at all. It was
Yeah.
It was cringy.
Yeah.
It's sad to see Sting like that. And, like, does he think he's being funny?
It's very confusing. And it's, like, so cringy that even just thinking about it makes me, like, like, I'm physically cringing right now.
Yeah. So next, we have more shenanigans from Better Than You, Baby. MJF has brought Adam Cole to a place where they can research the history, the tribal visions, and the spiritual desires of the Australian culture, and that is the Outback Steakhouse. And so they go in the Outback Steakhouse, and they present all the stuff on the wall, and it's like a David Lynch movie. The way that they shoot it.
Yeah.
It's just really weird.
Do you want to explain that to people who don't know who David Lynch is? Like, what that
Yeah,
means?
he's a filmmaker who does really esoteric and just strikingly strange for the sake of it being strange things. Like, we'll do slow jazz or pop songs to these, slow shots of, like, somebody pulling a drag on a cigarette or somebody moving their head for 12 seconds or something like that. It was very cool. It was very odd. And that's how they shoot the Outback Steakhouse bit. And then they come back out and they're like, oh my God, I'm so full. And then they go back, they're in the arena, I guess, the night before a match or so. And Adam Cole reveals that he brought Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2
For research.
in a DVD double pack for $6.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Yeah, I thought
deal.
that too.
I have to take advantage of that. And MJF and Adam Cole are called into Tony Khan's office, and this was strange.
Wait, you're skipping a part.
What?
You're skipping 2 parts. So before, they don't watch the Crocodile Dundee movies yet. Instead, MJF shows Adam Cole on his phone footage of kangaroos fighting each other.
He says, "Look at how majestic they are,
Yeah.
Adam."
Which is true. They're pretty majestic. And and he's really focusing on the kicking action of the kangaroos. And then they both dress up like Crocodile Hunter with the hats, and they are spying between some like boxes backstage
What they've
of
done,
some like random wrestler, and there's like an inflatable crocodile over a kiddie pool backstage at AEW, and they decide to double clothesline this dude who's like a stagehand or something walking around backstage near this, and they double clothesline him into the pool, and then that's what Tony Khan starts yelling about. Do you want to take it from there?
Yeah, and then they're in the office. It says Tony Khan, whatever else it says under it, and then yelling, and he's like, "You can't screw off like this, and this and that and the other, and blah blah blah," and he's just yelling, and I think they're kind of making fun of the fact that Tony Khan, quote unquote, lets the inmates run the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
Lets the wrestlers have too much freedom and this and that and the other. Because as they say, wrestlers going to wrestle. So
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
I see.
So given too much freedom, wrestlers are going to go wild and they're going to fuck something up and get into trouble. But of course, locker rooms have really changed nowadays. You know, you're much more likely to see a video game than you are cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
As I understand it. The locker rooms I was in, there weren't any drugs. So
That's good.
Except nicotine. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Tony Khan is yelling at them, and then they come outside, and it's strange. Tony Khan puts his sunglasses on, and once we see him now, he's so nice, and he's like, "Hey guys, thanks. You're doing a great job, and I can't wait for All In, the pay-per-view," or whatever he says.
Well, first MJF says something like under his breath once the door closes.
Well, yeah, he says that's going to hurt him in the bidding war 24.
Yeah, exactly. And then Tony Khan opens the door and is like, "What did you say?" And he's like still angry. And then MJF is like, "Oh, I was just saying I'm so thankful," and blah blah. And that's when he's like switches back to being nice.
Yeah.
So we did see like a brief moment of angry Tony Khan, which when the door was closed and he was yelling at them, I thought it wasn't really him because he seems like someone who would be incapable of sounding angry, and he like legit sounded angry. He did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And with like how robotic his announcements are, he did a great job like acting
Thanks, guys.
angry. Yeah. You know, I mean like it was surprising that it was him, but it was him.
It was odd. Yeah, and then we see tonight at the arena, MJF and Adam Cole arrive in a Ferrari. And it is MJF's, and it has a custom plate on it. And it says...
Better than you.
Better than you.
But it looks like it says birthing you.
It looks like it says birthing you. But so he and Cole get out. And then Roderick Strong comes by, and he's yelling at Cole, yelling something to him, like hi or hey or whatever. And Adam Cole was too far away, can't hear him. And Roderick Strong gets angry, and he kicks a tire. Like, what a fucking jerk this guy is. Roderick Strong and the Kingdom is with him, I should note. Roderick Strong and the Kingdom walk over, and Roderick Strong kicks a tire. So yeah, we got some... it's nice to see this got back to being funny, because I was worried they were out of ideas, because the trampoline park thing last week was not good.
Well, this was MJF, especially coming up with it. I guess we didn't really mention he developed a move that he thinks they should employ in their match called the Kangaroo Kick.
The Kangaroo Kick,
where he like squats like he's balancing on his kangaroo tail, and then jumps and kicks both feet in the air at the same time.
And he holds his arms like they're kangaroo paws.
It's adorable.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And he makes like a kangaroo face while he does it. That's my favorite part. Is his kangaroo face.
It's pretty awesome. Ridiculous. I tell you, MJF is pretty great as a face.
He's great as everything.
He is great. I agree. He's great. He's one of the most talented guys in the business right now, no doubt. Everything he touches turns to gold, except the ratings, of course. But they turn to silver.
Mm-hmm.
So MJF and Adam Cole come out in front of the fans to discuss their Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match, which again is on the 0 hour of All In. So it'll be on sometime between noon and 1. Adam Cole says that he'll do anything to win. And MJF pretty much says the right thing, says the same thing right back to him. And Aussie Open, they take advantage. These two maybe letting their guard down a little. They run in, and they're run out by Adam Cole. MJF sneaks up on Davis to do the Kangaroo Kick, but he's pulled out of harm's way as Davis by his partner. And we see Roderick Strong and the Kingdom watching this backstage on a monitor. So let me ask you.
And Roderick's in like a wheelchair with a bag of ice on his ankle, or his foot rather, from kicking the car.
Kicking the tire. And in a neck brace.
Yeah, so yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Continued neck brace.
What do you think is going to happen between MJF and Adam Cole on Sunday?
I think they're not going to win the tag team titles because I think it's too soon for Aussie Open to lose them. I think they're going to have the main event. They're going to go into it as friends.
You think Aussie Open's going to beat them cleanly? Or they're going to... What?
No, I think they're going to beat them cleanly. They're a better tag team.
Okay.
And I think MJF is going to cheat to win. But then, like, I said this the other day, I think he's going to pull, like, what's his name? Shawn Michaels with Ric Flair, where he's, like, crying and, like, mouths I'm sorry. And then, like, when Shawn Michaels does the sweet chin music to Ric Flair, except he's going to hit him with his diamond ring right in the kisser, cheating, but apologize because he's realizes he's hurting their friendship and he's hurting his best friend, you know? That's what I think is going to happen. But then MJF is going to retain. And whether their friendship survives, I don't know.
I think the odds of that are pretty good.
What do you think is going to happen? Yeah?
I don't know.
Do you think they're going to win the tag titles, though?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I know you don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. My gut says I don't know. So that's what I'm going with right now.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I was asking you. I was not prepared to answer.
Oh. Yeah. You should always be prepared to answer whatever question you ask me because I'm going to turn it right around.
No, I had no idea. Yeah, give me some time to think about it. No, maybe.
Okay.
Renee Paquette is with Chris Jericho as he's being treated for his injuries from earlier. Jericho says that at All In, he wants Ospreay. Now, I believed Ospreay is the IWGP U.S. champion. I believe he is, but his belt, there's no mention made of it. So I'm assuming this is a non-title match. But Jericho says he's going to make Ospreay bleed and drink his blood right in the middle of the ring. So, it's pretty stiff challenge there. And I know a lot of people have been kind of down on this matchup, Chris Jericho and Ospreay. Ospreay is the United States champion. I've just gotten confirmation. But they didn't mention the belt at all. So, and he didn't have it with him. So I'm assuming it's a non-title match. But I tell you, Chris Jericho can still pull it out, and this is going to be a fantastic match. Watch. That's all I got to say about it. Just watch.
I don't think that people think it's going to be a bad match.
I've been on the Twitter, I've been on X reading. And yeah, there are plenty of people who think it's going to be a bad match.
Okay, well then I should say, I don't think it's going to be a bad match. But I don't think it's going to be as good a match if they had done the rubber match for him and Omega.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
No.
So I think people are just disappointed that that's not what we're getting.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
But I got over it. Here's the thing. In wrestling, you can't always get what you want. And it's the same way these people that latch on to Star Wars movies. Listen, I love Star Wars more than anyone out there. I'll tell you that. But I'm not out there protesting just because I don't like something that happened in the movie. You know, it's fun. You can take something you like, go into it without any expectation, and then just take the story. You'll enjoy it more, you know? Don't have your own expectation or your own wants. I think it's a Buddhist concept, isn't it? You know, desire, you eliminate desire and you eliminate a lot of pain. Because as the poet Jagger said, you can't always get what you want. And I think it's something people in wrestling need to realize. You can't always get what you want. And you just got to get over it sometime and take the matches you're given and enjoy the work that these women and men do and get over yourself and realize that you're just a person on the internet with an opinion just like everyone else, with an opinion just like the booker, except the difference between you and the booker is that what the booker writes down matters. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have our Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett. And Jeff Hardy is accompanied by Matt Hardy, Brother Zay, and Ethan Page. And Jeff Jarrett is accompanied by Karen Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh. This match, I'll tell you what I pictured, and here's another. You can't always get what you want. So here's a good example. You can't always get what you want. What I pictured of this match, you know, I wanted to see the field with the big sunflowers. I wanted to see the mill going around, turning, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the windmill. I wanted to see the grain fields. I wanted to see the shed. I wanted all that.
You wanted a cinematic match.
I wanted a cinematic match, yeah, and that's what it should have been.
It would have been
but
better,
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been a million times better.
Yeah.
But I gave it a chance. That's not what it was. And I gave it a chance, and it let me down still. This match, the less we say about it, the better, I think, as David Byrne said. There's a lot of walking around and hitting people with things. And then eventually, Leatherface comes out. Not one of the wrestlers dressed as Leatherface, and then it's revealed later. No. This will go in the annals of wrestling history as fucking Leatherface came out. A pretend character with other pretend characters. This is going to be on the same list as RoboCop breaking the bars off of a cage to help Sting, and Chucky haunting Rick Steiner in 1998. Leatherface coming out. And Karen Jarrett, who is covered in fake blood, she's playing the final girl type role and screaming, and
She did a good job with screaming.
yeah, oh yes,
She
did.
looked legitimately scared. It was nice.
I agree. There's a bright spot.
Mm.
Jeff Jarrett won after he and Satnam Singh pinned Jeff Hardy. This match gets 1/2 a star, which it sets a new record for the lowest rating I've ever given on this show.
Didn't you give a match 0 the other day?
Did I? What did I give a 0 to?
I don't remember what match that was.
Well, we'll have to look. It may be a new low. It's either the lowest or the second lowest rated match ever.
I wrote a list of the stuff that was involved in the match. Do you want me to tell you my list? So we had a bunch of bones tied together as a weapon. We had a bucket of blood. We had smoke from under the ring that was never explained. We had chairs, tables, a guitar, Leatherface, belts, multiple low blows, a hammer, and an awesome new title belt that I think we'll never see again.
Title belt was awesome.
Did you mention that Jeff Jarrett won?
I did.
Okay, just making sure. So he was the winner of the Leatherface title belts, which looks so cool.
It was a picture of Leatherface's mug on top of what looked like the symbol of Switzerland, but it wasn't.
What?
It's like red behind him, behind his face.
Yeah.
On the belt. But that belt looked cool.
Yeah, it did.
It was a cool belt. Man, can we not just have like a one league with monsters wrestling? You know, is that too much to ask, really? I want to see Dracula wrestling on Freddy. I want to see the Wolfman wrestling on the Mummy. I want a little person, Chucky, with his little person valet. What's her name? Tiffany, thank you. I mean, is it too much to ask before I leave this earth? Am I going to have to make it happen myself? Because I swear to you, if I have to make it happen myself, I will try my best.
I think video game simulation is the best you're going to get of this, babe. I'm sorry.
Because of money, right?
Yeah.
Because of cock-sucking money.
Yeah, they'd have to pay for the rights to all of those characters.
All right, so next we had a women's world title match qualifier where the winner advances to the women's world title match at All In. So right now, as it stands, we have the women's world champ Hikaru Shida facing Toni Storm
and Saraya.
And this will be the final opponent. We have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, or the Bunny, who is accompanied to the ring by Penelope Ford. Let's see. Early on in this match, the Bunny grabbed Baker in the tarantula in the ropes. It was pretty impressive. That's harder to put on than it looks, because gravity, you know.
I didn't know it had a name.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I just tried to describe it. That's what's called the tarantula?
The tarantula.
That was really cool looking.
Penelope Ford chokes Baker on the lowest rope. She has to interfere out there. Bunny throws Baker to the outside. And back inside, the Bunny puts a boot on Baker's throat in the corner and punches and forearms. Sorry, I couldn't read my own writing for a second there. A sling blade by Baker. Baker goes in for the lockjaw, but Penelope Ford grabs her surgical glove. So what is a woman to do? Well, Baker instead hits a stomp for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and the win. It was a decent match. I give it 3 bones out of 5. The spots look good. Nothing amazing. Nothing terrible. So again, 3 bones out of 5. And Britt Baker secures a spot in the 4-way for the Women's World Title match at All In. So Britt Baker, Saraya, Toni Storm, and World Champion Hikaru Shida. Sounds like a good fucking match to me.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And it is a damn shame. It looks like we're only getting 1 women's match at that show. They've got to add in another, at least on the 0 hour.
I think we'll definitely get one on the 0 hour.
We'll definitely get one, yeah. So hopefully another one on the actual card.
Mm-hmm. That'd be nice.
I mean, it's just
pitiful.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
Up next, I know I sound like a broken record, folks. I'm sorry, but at this one women's match every week, it gets old, you know, because like I said, you can say women don't draw ratings, but then if you don't give their characters things to do, if you don't make their characters have character traits, then they aren't going to draw ratings. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have to give them character traits, give them things to do, and then people will want to see the matches. It's very simple. And you just got to do that. You just have to have more, a little more story with the women. People will care more, and the ratings will go up. Simple as that. We have a Billy Gunn retirement video package. Much to do has been made of the retirement of Billy Gunn since
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Can you imagine whenever Sting retires, how long they're going to talk about that?
Yeah.
If he ever does, I don't know. He said he's going to retire for years and years, and he never has.
I think if he retires, he'll be a manager. I don't see him leaving the profession.
Yeah, I mean, good for him.
Yeah, I think he loves it
I love
too
Sting.
much. Yeah.
I love Sting. And he can still go.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 62. I mean, he's not the best they have, but he can still go and put on a good match. And he's 62 years old. Awesome. That is amazing. Because I can't go out there and do what they do. And I'm 39, and Sting is 62 fucking years old and going out there and putting his body on the line for our entertainment. And doing it well. That's the thing, doing it well.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, 2 bald jobbers are in the ring. And the Acclaimed come down, and they're rapping, and they're dissing on the bald guys, and then the lights go out. And the House of Black come down and destroy the Acclaimed. And they just beat them down. It's 3-on-2. The bald guys pretty much leave. I don't know what happened to the bald guys or what their names were or anything. Didn't catch their names. But Max Caster is a bloody mess. The House of Black grab Billy Gunn's boots and leave.
They like stealing things.
They are very... Well, you know, they could be anarchists and they don't believe in personal property.
That's a possibility, I suppose.
Could be. Yeah, they stole Andrade's mask, had it for several weeks, until Andrade won it back in that awesome ladder match over Buddy Matthews.
Mm-hmm. And then he hasn't been seen since.
Yeah.
Well, they did a video package about him getting his mask back, but then that was it.
So I want to go back for a minute, back to the beginning of this week's show, and talk about one of the champions. And that is the international champion, Orange Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask you a question I've asked before, and that is, you know, this title reign, it's been awesome, it's been terrific, it's been one of the best stories, not only in AEW, but in all of wrestling. Cassidy has proved himself, he's proven, if he hadn't already, he's proven that he's not just a comedy character. Guy can wrestle. Mm-hmm. And can do more than... It's not the same match every time, either.
Yeah.
So my point in sucking up to Orange Cassidy is he eventually has to lose this title. Who should he lose it to?
So, because it's called the international title, I think that he needs to lose it to someone... either from New Japan or from AAA. My first choice has been and will continue to be Zack Sabre Jr. I think that his submission style wrestling, where he just flows from one move to another without stopping is beautiful. And I think that he is the best candidate to take over the mantle and pick up that flag and carry it. And I'm not saying he should win it and then take it to Japan and stay there and never be seen on AEW. Like, I want him to win it, stay on AEW for a while to defend it until he passes it on to someone else.
I'll tell you what I think would be cool is if he takes it back to Japan with him, and then AEW, one of their guys has to go over there.
Well, I think it would be good to have a mix.
Like if he makes it, you want to come and get it. You got to come to Japan to get it.
Yeah. Well, I want to be able to see the matches. So part of me wants it on AEW so that I can see it. Because we don't watch New Japan. But yeah, he's been my choice. I just think, and I think his style and Orange Cassidy's style are really cool. Before they made the Forbidden Door match a three-way, I thought Zack Sabre Jr. was going to win it, you know? I still thought he was going to win it even when they made it a three-way, but I hope that doesn't mean that the opportunity has passed and that ship has sailed, because I feel like really that's the best fit. I want Zack Sabre Jr. to have, like, all the belts. He's also my first choice for winning the ROH Pure Championship from Shibata because of his technical wrestling skills. He's just, like, one of the best wrestlers I've seen, you know?
He's fantastic.
Yeah. I wish I could get to see him more. Who's your pick for Orange Cassidy?
Who Cassidy should lose it to?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I kind of would like to say Malachi Black.
And have him still be a trios champion and he has 2 belts, or have him lose the trios?
Yeah, have 2 belts. I think he'd be fine with 2 belts.
I think they're eventually losing those belts to the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn.
Yeah. So
that'd be good. He would be a good choice.
And then they could have Brody King and
Buddy
Matthews as a tag team. That's a cool tag team.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, I think at this point you need someone who's pretty established. And while Malachi is not, you know, as big a star as Kenny Omega or something, he's definitely an upper mid-carder, I would say. And so could only help Malachi's career, and he could only lend more authenticity to that belt, and that belt lend more credence to his claim of being one of the top singles wrestlers. So it would be a great win for him.
That's a good point.
Up next, we have the main event of the night, the Guns of the Bullet Club Gold taking on the Young Bucks. So the Guns are doing their entrance where they hold up finger guns and they spit out water and it looks like it's smoke.
That's awesome.
It's cool. They're doing that, and then the Bucks come and interrupt it. They come and get them. And all 4 men fight outside to start. There's a double team suplex by the Bucks on Colton. Simultaneous drop kicks and then 10 punches in the corners by the Bucks. The Guns whip the Bucks. Irish whip them both across the ring simultaneously. The Bucks pull the old do-si-do maneuver and then come out with simultaneous drop kicks. And the Bucks are rolling here early. There's some nice legal double teaming after the tag for the Guns. The Guns really are improved. They do an excellent job of cutting the ring in half, keeping Matt Jackson inside their half. Eventually, though, he does get the tag into Nick. Nick Jackson hits a crossbody on both Guns. Nick Jackson back in, super kicks Austin Gunn. Austin goes out. Both Guns double team Matt. Austin and Colton try for some outside leverage on the pin. Broken up, 2 count. The Bucks cheat with outside leverage right after the Guns fail at it for the 1, 2, and 3. The good guys cheat to win.
Yes, they do.
And just blatantly cheat to win.
Mm-hmm.
Which usually you wouldn't do for your faces.
Good thing Rick Knox was the referee.
Yeah. So this match, it was good. It was pretty darn good, actually. I give this one 4 bones out of 5.
So which was your match of the night? Because you gave the Orange Cassidy Wheeler one 4 too, didn't you?
Match of the night was definitely Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta, no doubt.
I agree.
No doubt. So here, I'm telling what happened after the match. What do you have to say about this one, Kay?
I thought this match was good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Guns a lot. I think
too.
they're, like you said, have shown such growth,
Mm-hmm.
both in the ring and on the mic, and just with their crowd work too.
That's the thing. I mean, they wrestled anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestle on Dark, fine. Wrestle on Dark Elevation, fine. Wrestle on Rampage, sure. Wrestle on Collision, sure. Wrestle on Dynamite, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestle in a fucking high school gym in front of 500 people, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what it takes, and that's what they've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's paid off for them. You can tell.
Yeah, I thought there was some really good heel crowd work by Austin during the match. I agree that the Guns did a great job isolating Matt in their corner. Starting the match though, like the Bucks came out wrestling like they were angry, because of the attack on Kenny Omega by the other half of Bullet Club Gold. So they look good when they're wrestling angry. They should wrestle angry more often. Like their moves just looked like they packed an extra punch to them, and they were just like on the offense immediately and like pounding them hard. Lots of double moves between the Bucks at the beginning of the match. This is the match where there was the second time where someone ducked and made the other team clothesline themselves, which Matt Jackson ducked and the Guns clotheslined themselves. So stupid. So stupid. Like, they can just stop moving, Like, they can just... They're controlling their bodies. It's not like they're on, like, a track,
Yeah.
It's just so... It's, like, infuriatingly dumb to me. I don't like it when I feel like the wrestling is insulting my intelligence, and that is what this move does.
I hear you.
Like, maybe if they were, like, swinging harder or moving faster so it looked like they weren't going to have time to stop... But that was not the case for either match where this move set was played out, and I don't like it. At one point, Matt played possum during the match, pretending that he was down and out, and then he tricked the Guns, and so I like that. I like when the baby faces can trick the heels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun match. I really am liking Bullet Club Gold as a whole. They're an awesome faction.
They need more.
They need more people.
More people.
Yeah. But it's a good start. I mean,
It's a good start.
They just recently added the Guns, so...
I think more are coming.
Yeah, I think more are coming, too, but I think they need a little bit of time before they add more. Help solidify the current group first. Which is what they're doing,
Mm-hmm. So the Young Bucks win, and right after, in come Jay White and Juice Robinson, and it's 4-on-2, and the Bucks are getting their ass kicked. In comes FTR's music, and they're waiting on them, but they come through the crowd, and they hit a Shatter Machine on Juice Robinson, and then they run Bullet Club Gold off, and FTR, they set up like they're going to hit a Shatter Machine on Matt Jackson, but they decide better of it. And then the two teams stand face-to-face, toe-to-toe, as we call it. And that's the question, We have 2 questions now. Who will win at All In? number 1, and will the match happen? Number 2.
So overall, what are your thoughts on this Dynamite?
It was pretty good. They're I tell you, the All In is going to be a great show, no matter what happens before it. But the build up to All In has not been great.
Well, it's like this episode felt like almost frenzied with the amount of information they were trying to cram into one episode.
It did. It really did.
So it's like they're realizing, oh yeah, we have to build up our matches to All In. Let's do it all at one time in this one episode instead of spreading it out.
Wrestling Observer, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're fine, go ahead.
I think Wrestling Observer called it an acid trip Dynamite.
Because of the death match?
No, because of all the different shit on it.
Oh.
No, just like weird. It took you from here to there to this. And we got Kangaroo. MJF is acting like a kangaroo. We got the Guns in the main event, and you got fucking Leatherface shows up, and Orange Cassidy's taped halfway to Timbuktu, and you know.
Yeah. I guess I don't know. I enjoyed it.
So real quick here, I'm going to go over the card for All In.
Which is August 27th. And the 0 hour starts at 12 noon.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time, yes. Thank you. So what do we got?
So on the 0 hour, I'm gonna try and be quick here. And the 0 hour, Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions Aussie Open face Better Than You, Baby. Be very interesting to see what happens in that match. Coffin match, Sting and Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland and AR Fox, trying to avenge what happened to poor little Nick Wayne. Then we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, is that right?
I don't know, what are you saying?
That's not right, is it?
I don't know what you're saying.
Moxley,
yeah.
Castagnoli, and Yuta.
Plus 3 others.
Plus 3 others. Oh, versus Cassidy, Kingston,
the Best Friends, and the Lucha Brothers.
The Best Friends, the Lucha Brothers, yeah.
Yeah, and a Stadium Stampede
and
match.
Stadium Stampede match. Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and Kota Ibushi versus Konosuke Takeshita, Switchblade Jay White, and Juice Robinson. What I think will be the match of the night. IWGP U.S. Champion Will Ospreay in what I think is a non-title match against Chris Jericho. AEW World Tag Team title match, FTR, I think. Oh, we didn't talk about this. So you've heard, if you've been on the internet, you probably heard that Cash Wheeler, he got arrested because he I think
it was allegedly an assault with a firearm.
Yeah. So I guess he pistol whipped someone or something, you know?
I don't want to guess.
No. He allegedly alleged what's the word?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Alleged
yeah, allegedly.
No, but alleged what? Assault with a firearm?
Well, yeah, alleged assault with a firearm. That's what he got charged with.
I don't think those are the right words, but that whatever it is, that gives the idea of what it was. So the reason I'm bringing this up is, we don't know. England is pretty strict a lot of times when it comes to immigration, and I don't know if they're going to let someone with a felony charge looming, and that's what he got. It's a felony. It's a 3rd-degree felony, but it's a felony. I don't know if they're going to let someone with a felony charge pending come into England. We will see. It is to work on a thing that brings a lot of money into their economy, so they may look the other way, but we will see. FTR, right now, is still scheduled to defend the World Tag Team titles against the Young Bucks. we have the real world champion, CM Punk, defending his title against Samoa Joe. That match is not official yet. Punk probably will accept it tonight on Collision, but he hasn't accepted it as of the time of us making this show. AEW Women's World Title 4-Way Match. Champion Hikaru Shida versus Toni Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker DMD versus Saraya. Should be a good one. And the main event, the biggie. Who knows what the hell is going to happen in this match. AEW World Title Match. MJF defends his belt against Adam Cole. Sounds like a dream card. And I don't care what people are saying online, what some people are saying online, I should say. It's a dream card. Mm-hmm. It really is. That's a strong card. Mm-hmm. And more matches to be added, I'm sure, with the 0 hour on it. What do you think of the card?
Oh, I think it's great. I cannot wait. That's why I had such a hard time picking the match to which I was most looking forward. Because there's so many great matches, it's hard to choose. You know?
Oh my God! Sunday at 1 p.m.
Yeah. Plus, I love that. I love that it's an afternoon instead of a nighttime show.
Yeah, every pay-per-view should be like Sunday at 1 p.m. or like Saturday at 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Because I got to work the next day, so
yeah,
I don't want to stay up late.
Well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show. We have an announcement to make.
So we are changing the format of our show. Instead of doing a Dynamite recap and review and a Collision recap and review, we will be doing one This Week in AEW that covers both shows and possibly some of the results of Rampage.
Title pending.
And that will be, those shows will be out on Tuesday afternoons/evenings. And then we're going to start doing some WWE coverage again. So we're going to be covering the results of Raw and SmackDown, the story progressions, news, similar to our previous This Week in WWE shows. And those will be coming out on Saturday afternoons/evenings. So we look forward to the new format. Hopefully you guys dig it. If not, we will go back to the drawing board. But I think this is going to make our show even more interesting. We're going to focus a little bit more on the storylines and on news. And current events.
Yeah.
So we look forward to it. Hopefully it works out. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, please go ahead and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. While you're hitting that subscribe button, feel free to rate us. 5 bones, 5 stars, 5 rainbow unicorns, whatever they let you rate us in. And then be sure to follow us on YouTube and Twitter, or X, I guess is now, as it's now called, at No Bones Wrastlin' with an R, and then at Kay Fabulous 80.
And yeah, we're on Twitter a lot. That's a good way to get a hold of us if you actually want to talk to us. Mm-hmm. We will answer you if you talk to us on Twitter. So feel free, please. Don't be a creep. Just be a nice person. Feel free, and we will talk to you. And we also have an Instagram as of today. We have an Instagram page that started today.
Very cool. I don't think I knew that.
Check it out. You'll be one of the first ones to check it out. The titles of these shows are pending, but if you subscribe, you will get both shows still. And we're still going to do our pay-per-view coverage for AEW. We're still going to do our pay-per-view coverage for Ring of Honor. And we're obviously still going to do our pay-per-view coverage for the WWE Premium Live events. So you're getting more bang for your time, and I think it's gonna work out. I think the new format is gonna be enjoyed by everybody. And check us out next week, and I think you're gonna dig it. So check us out Tuesday for. See, I'm still getting used to it for our AEW show.
Yes.
On Tuesday.
I'll just make a big poster to hold up every time you're thinking about it.
Yeah, which will be up in the afternoon, early evening or something. And as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day, y'all. Bye.